Okay, so we are having our back to school essentials virtual event. And I look forward to these because I know, well, I don't know. Honestly, I look forward much more to the live events. I love, 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 especially if I can get some kid-friendly events together like I did this past month and have actual children right here getting resourced and empowered with natural solutions. That delights me, but I especially love having people be able to be right here sniffing and smelling as we go. But the virtual thing has to do in some cases just as schedules and distance are a thing. And also, these days a lot of people want to make sure we stay safe and possibly less gatherings. And so this is a good one. I'm going to tell you guys just briefly some tips that I think you can kind of look forward to. And then I would like to ask you guys to put in the chat some things that you feel like you specifically need some solutions for. So typically when we look at back to school kind of things, we're thinking about focus, how to help kids retain what they're trying to study. We're looking at things about immune health as well. Like as we mentioned, there's a lot of things going on these days, and specifically when you gather with large groups of people. Now, of the people who are here now, most of the people that I see happen to be homeschoolers, but I do have probably two other gals who are going to join later, who their kids are in public school, and then there's other people who have just grandkids and whatever, who just need to be able to know what's what. So yours may or may not be in super large groups, but in general, during the school season, we do meet with more people, and we just want to make sure that those germs stay where they're supposed to, and any kind of like bugs that may be crawling around on people's heads or anything like that stay where they're supposed to, which is not in our homes, right? So some of those kinds of things. Also, another big deal that seems to come up that I have some really good solutions for is sleep, which you guys know really impacts behavior, right? And so being able to get that super high quality sleep is really a key during the school season. In the summers, maybe we can let go a little bit. They can stay up late and wake up late, whatever. But typically school year, we got to pay attention to this. Nutrition is another issue that can also lead to behavioral issues. And I know in my particular family, I'm a mother of five. I've homeschooled four of those guys. One of them has gone all the way to graduate. And my littlest guy right now is 6 years old. He just had a birthday this past week. And so I've kind of run the gamut. And I know when you have a lot of kids, even of different ages or the same age in a group, conflicts come up. So addressing some kind of more like behavioral, easy to get along, kind of positive, uplifting feelings is one thing. And then lastly, oh, it says my internet connection is unstable. Hopefully this is still going okay. I don't know. Am I still coming through, Killer guys? Is it unstable or is it okay? Is it tricky? I don't know if
It, it's a little, but you're good.
okay, thanks. All right. And the last thing that I think is another key is this idea of handling anxiety or stress. And that becomes a big issue because a lot of kids have this turmoil that goes on inside of wanting to be better, wanting to kind of get things in order in their life and things like that, but they don't really know how to express it. So especially at a young age, to give them a resource or two to feel more comfortable about that, I feel like is key. And of course, we all want little something we can put on under their nose if they're a little sniffly or little things like that as well, right? So those are some things that I'm planning to kind of go over tonight. And let me share a couple things on my screens. I'm going to make this, okay, so here's at a glance, here's a way to contact me. enamorwithnature@gmail.com is my email address. There's several of fun videos that are very educational on YouTube. We got some fun stuff. So you can look me up at Amanda Dumas. This is specifically a doTERRA texting number. Some of you who are my personal friends may have a different number than this, but this is what I text from specifically for doTERRA questions. So that one's when I feel free to to give to people who I don't necessarily know. But do feel free to contact me about doTERRA stuff that way. Also, if you're looking for a little extra info, going over to the R is oh, sorry, just kidding, not that one. That one has a doTERRA account required. The Enamored with Nature Oil Education. I pop on and do little fun videos every now and then, very educational. I, put in different cool facts and figures and tips and recipes and things like that. And you do not have to have a doTERRA account in order to jump on and learn and enjoy. So that may be something that you might want to check out later as well. Okay, so going into our actual thing. Now, here is a good place for me to pause, actually. I don't know, did we end up having anybody put a comment about what they wanted to learn in the class? Did anybody else put something in the chat? You guys, I would love for you to go ahead and put some things in the chat, because I should have told you this before. So now you're like, now I know why. All right, so I have a 5 ml bottle of On Guard, which you'll learn about how awesome this is for immune boosting. And I also have a 10 ml roller bottle of Tamer. And these you will learn about later, but just know they are some things that you will want. So I plan to go ahead and choose somebody at the end of class who's been participating. And I'd like to gift those to two people, hopefully, who are answering as we go along. So if you'd like that to be you, go ahead and come up with some things to put in the chat. And my friend Marcella will probably help me moderate and kind of read a couple of those things and maybe answer some questions as we go along. So that, and speaking of the chat, Marcella, could you so kindly put in the Google Drive link so that the people who are watching would be able to access the same thing? Now, most of this, as I go through it, I'm going to plan to make it nice and big. It's one of my little quirks I tend to really enjoy. Like when people who I'm watching on YouTube or something like that make things big enough for me to see even on my phone, I'm just so thrilled about that. So I tend to try to make things as big as I can. So all right, I'm seeing a couple good questions here. Thank you guys. I'm gonna answer those here pretty quick as I go along. Okay, so there's a link to the things, and here's one extra kind of fun thing. If you are watching this later on your computer, you can take your phone and just scan this QR code to be able to bring it up on your phone. It should give you an option to open that as you just kind of like allow your camera to look over it. So go ahead and take a look if you want access there, or again, follow along just as I, scroll through. So I had showed you guys this Tamer, and this is where it comes in, right? This is the digestive blend. This is really amazing for, they talk about for motion sickness and upset stomach, things like that, but really it's all things digestive. We like it for slowing down what's coming out too fast, or for speeding up things that are not moving correctly. So I hope that that you guys will either win this or get some of these kinds of things into your tool belt. This has become a really easy one for my 6-year-old to grab. My 6-year-old happens to have some digestive problems. He has some gluten and corn sensitivities, and when he has some exposure to that from restaurants or things like that, we have our special little our special oils that have come to the rescue and been really key. Now, this one, the ingredients are things like spearmint, I would say, is the major one. And I believe, yeah, it also has a little bit of peppermint in it and some ginger. And these kinds of things are fantastic because they're already diluted. And so they're super easy for kids to just be able to grab. You notice up here, this awesome little kit. My kids adore this cute little zipper thing. They just put all of them in here. Here's a fun thing that you guys, when we're doing the live event that's kid friendly, I always ask kids to tell me what does this little figure here look like? And they're like, a brain, like, what does this one look like? A body. And what does this one look like? A heart. So all these things kind of tell us where you can plan to use these things. And so the calmer, we really like it. We call it the restful blend. And we like it for specifically helping people relax and rest, which is just a bit different because that's relates to the brain, just a bit different from the steady, which is the kids grounding blend. And this one has a lot more of those tree oils and furs and things like that. And it's very good for helping, especially for anxious or nervous feelings. So we love the steady. My boys tend to do that. It actually has a lot of magnolia in it as well, which has very high linalool count, similar to lavender, but to me, it's less floral and just more I don't know, grounding. It's great. Okay, so the calmer and steady, often people get confused between those two. So I just wanted to say, so the calmer is more for like resting and relaxing. Steady is more for anxious feelings and being nervous or feeling stressed out. And it's surprising how often my kids will go for the steady. In fact, honestly, my kids hardly ever touch the calmer. I'm not sure why. And of course, each family is different, but my kids really like this study. Another one that they go for a lot is this thinker, especially my 11-year-old girl. She notices when she's having trouble focusing. And so this yellow one, she likes to come and grab it. It's so that she can have a lot more clarity and alertness. She tends to get very distracted, especially when she hasn't had good sleep or maybe has been getting a little crazy with her sugar intake while she's at her grandparents or something. And this allows things to kind of calm down so that she's not just following every squirrel as it comes. I love, so vetiver would be one of the main ingredients. And so you at home, some of you I know do have your own oils, but maybe these are newer blends that you haven't heard of. So I just want to let you know vetiver is one of the ones that's in this thinker that I feel like is key. And if you don't have this, but you do have other tools in your toolbox, go ahead and make sure that vetiver is there for you for helping for focus. Frankincense is another one that's in there as well. Okay, so Rescuer is another fantastic one. If some of you may know about one called Deep Blue, and it's so for like, muscle aches and pains and joints and things like that. So the Rescuer is kind of a kid's version of that. It has much, much less peppermint, there's no wintergreen in it, but it's things that are very good for reducing tension. And so we like to use this after kids are running and jumping, and or also the Rescuer is amazing for growing pains. I don't know if you guys have ever been woken in the middle of the night with kids who are telling you that they don't know why, but their shins just hurt or their thighs just hurt or something like that, and you want to be able to give them something, right? This has I've actually had my 8-year-old has done an experiment where he'll put it onto one leg when both legs are hurting and then not on the other, and he'll find out how long it takes before he can tell the difference between the leg that was hurting and that which he put it on and not. So it's kind of cute. He feels like it's very effective, and he's happy to be able to have that just at his fingertips. So Stronger is the other one for the body. We love this as a kind of as an on guard replacement. Things we love the fact that essential oils are so powerful, and so on guard we love it because the clove and the cinnamon and the eucalyptus and all these things are amazing for fighting bacteria, fungus, all the things that we don't want, right? But they can also, like cinnamon and clove, can cause some sensitivity for our skin. And so the Stronger is an amazing blend that doesn't have some of those like more hot oils in it. And what's great about that, and so here's the key, is rose is one of the main ingredients in this Stronger blend. And so it smells amazing. And You guys probably have heard already that frankincense is the king of oils, but rose is the queen. Well, it's at least one of the queen's oils. There's a toss up between if it's jasmine or rose. But in any case, rose can do so much, but because it tends to be very expensive, people use it very sparingly. So it delights me that this is, affordable and in a really easy method, makes it able so that I can share these things with my kiddos and feel fine to have them, use all of those kinds of beneficial things without feeling like they're, gonna have any hot, sensitization from the stronger oils. So, okay, so I would say, oh, and the last one, which happens to be my favorite of all time, is the Brave. This one, if I had to pick, like right now, like the one that just thrills me the most, and that I carry around almost as a personal perfume, it's the Brave, and it's also very grounding, but it's great for confidence, reassurance, gives us a lot of the zest for life. It has some citruses in there and a little bit of cassia. Really great for helping to manage, the days when they have a speech to give, or the days when they're very first starting school and they're going to be meeting everybody and they're just feeling a little nervous about that. This is amazing. This also happens to be my daughter, who's in gymnastics. It's one of her most used ones because sometimes, if a kid falls and gets hurt, they may not be quite so ready to try that same thing again during practice if they're doing gymnastics or some flips or whatever. And so this has helped, in my family, get people over the hump to be able to do the things that they really want to do, but are just having a little bit of a block to be able to get that done. Now, I do, let me go back actually. So I'm noticing congestion, sleep, and anxiety. Thank you guys for putting some things in there. Let's see. And if there's something that to put on if they're not wearing masks. Yep. So I would say in this set of things, which I'll tell you more about on guard in just a minute, but the stronger blend is what I would say, go ahead and get them used to having this on a regular basis. And thankfully it smells delightful. And so here's my top tip for getting kids to be protected from, no mask, like whatever your theory on masks are, or how to just, stay safe when there's just so many things around. I love keeping my roller bottle handy, typically in the kitchen. And as we're getting ready to leave the house, I'll roll some onto my fingers and I'll just come by, and each kid, as they're putting on their shoes or something like that, I'll just kind of reach it down the back of their neck. And it's almost like a little back and shoulder massage, but right there along the spine. The spinal fluid is a really great way to try to kind of get some oils into their body systems. And we go for the bottoms of the feet. You can just put it on, like they can put it on their own wrists. That's usually where I have my kids do it if they're just doing it on their own. But it can be like an extra point of contact if you're sending them off on the bus to do like one little extra little swipe down the back of their neck. It can be like, I don't know, I think a good bonding moment as well, but super, super protective. And this is okay to be using on a daily basis as well. So I can tell you guys a little bit more about that in a minute. And I also have more ideas for sleep as we keep going. Okay, so I'm glad somebody also mentioned things about feeling anxious as well. So here's a couple things that are specifically like must-haves for that. Balance is typically what most of us grown-ups, if it's not in the kids collection that we just looked at, this is the one that I think is amazing. Balance, very, very grounding. So tons of trees. Actually, frankincense is one of the ingredients in balance. And so not only is it, so frankincense, they kind of think of it almost like a sedative, although strangely enough, frankincense is also, it's well known for its mental acuity. help. And so it's definitely one that you want when you need to be like aware. But they also call it a sedative, kind of classifies into that line of thinking as well, because it just really is very, very calming. Um, Balance tends to be very tree-like, and so oftentimes it is, how would I say? I don't want to say it's masculine because I don't necessarily feel like it has to be feminine or masculine, but men are not turned off by balance. Adaptive tends to be something many people are originally like, if you smell it from the bottle, some people are not necessarily enjoying it. Once it is on your skin, adaptive is pretty amazing. And when I smell it diffused, it's pretty good. But often right from the bottle, it doesn't smell great. So its main ingredients are copaiba. I could tell you so many stories about copaiba. Copaiba, lavender, wild orange, and I'm missing another key ingredient, which I can't remember. It's probably not all that important. Anyway, but this one, adaptive, if the issues are more than just kind of your at a glance anxiety, there's also a capsule that comes with ahi flower, which is an herb, and that is even more supportive long term for mental health, as opposed to just being something that helps you kind of like take, the idea adaptive, when you are able to just kind of take some changes, or so transitions in a good way. Here's another idea for Lori, as she had asked about the on guard, asked about how to keep kids healthy when they're out and about, and masks and things like that. The on guard hand sanitizer, I feel like this is important because so many of the things, have you guys already seen some of those scary videos of people's hands catching fire after they put hand sanitizer on because the alcohol is so flammable, and just scary stuff like that, right? And just the idea that it's soaking into our skin. So we want things that are super effective at killing those things that we don't want, but at the same time, it's got to be gentle enough that we're okay with it absorbing into our kids' bodies. So I really like the apple seed extract and the essential oils that are in this On Guard hand sanitizer spray. Makes it really easy to be able to send those on with the kids. They also have the hand wipes that are now available as well, which I think are fantastic. There happens to be an extra little sale going on this. Right. Well, today's the 31st, so it's the last day of the month, which makes it, hard to take the time to take advantage of this, especially if we go too late. So hopefully I'm going to keep this down to a short amount of time. Here's another one that I just cannot go without. Like, I wish when I was a kid that I knew about Clary Calm. Like, this happens to be one of my all-time favorites. In fact, it's one of the very few oils that my husband knows by name, because he knows when I'm crying at the drop of a hat or getting all upset at him for the most minuscule thing. He knows that it's time to ask me, might I ever so gently suggest that you go put on some Clary Calm? And the fact that he remembers the name of his Clary Calm is a big deal. I like it just because it helps those cramps go away. And so during that time of the month, I feel like I just would like to just be laying flat in bed. And when I was young, I used to go through Midol like crazy. It'd be like 2 months and I have to buy a whole new bottle of Midol because I would just down that stuff. It wasn't really all that effective, and who knows what it was doing to my liver. but this has been an amazing solution for me. I hope that if any of you have some girls, that you will help to resource your little darlings with these kinds of things. You can see some of the ingredients there that, again, if you have some of those things at home, you want to be using those for your girls. Um, okay, so the sweet dream section, since we had some questions about sleep, I think so a couple things. The calmer that we mentioned, also doTERRA has an oil called Serenity, which is amazing, and they're also Serenity a gel cap that includes some GABA, and it does not have melatonin, which means that your body is not going to start relying on it, right? Because sometimes when you give your body synthetic melatonin or things like that, your body stops producing it, and then you kind of like have to keep taking the melatonin forever, right? So this is not in any way kind of addictive, and also won't leave you groggy at all. I've had situations where people have told me, that they were going to sleep at 4 in the morning, but they had to be up at 9 exactly to go away for a trip. And they just, they had taken it, and they're, let me know that the next day that it was no problem. The grogginess was not there. The part that they really needed to rest, they rested deeply, and really didn't have any kind of negative side effects the next day. So that is gentle yet strong, which is what we want in all of them, right? I gotta mention the probiotics here too. Not only is the probiotics, this PB Assist Junior, I can go in and tell you all the different things about how easy it is for my kids to take this. It's kind of like pixie sticks. And it's surprising how the low amount of sugar comparatively when you're looking at, say, like yogurts or some of the other things that don't have nearly as many good strains of friendly flora. So this has the 5 billion live cells of the different six different strains. So very, very good. And again, easy for my kids to take. For vitamins, there are some awesome things. We call these our circle vitamins. They actually have smiley faces on them. My kids love eating them up. And it's a really easy way for them to get some of the basics covered. The IQ Mega, this does have a couple of essential oils mixed into these omega fatty acids. And I'll let you just take a quick look there at some of the really awesome ways that it supports the brain, and has, so many of the things that we need to be getting our kids to be able to help them get set for school. Now, when we're looking at junior high and senior high and college, actually, let me go ahead and have you guys put that in the chat here too, if you would. Um, I'm gonna ask you to put here in the chat what ages your kids are. I know some of you only have one. I'm trying to take a look through who all is here. Some of you only have one kid. Some of your kids are grown. Some of you might even have grandkids now. I don't know. So you can go ahead and put a couple of things in the chat there. I'm looking here at the question about Clary Calm. Yes, Michelle, it is also good for menopausal issues. My sweet friend Heather tells me that she not only puts it on her lower abdomen, but she likes to put it on the back of her neck. And especially during those times when she's feeling excessively hot, she feels that just melt away very quickly. So that has been wonderful for her. And definitely, yeah, very, very balancing for hormones. Oh, I see Marcella answered that question. Thank you so much. Um, yes, let's see. I think that's good. Okay, good. I'm seeing some of your ages coming in. Thank you. Okay, good. So, oh yeah, okay. So some would do count into this category. Okay, great. All right. So this junior high, senior high, college kind of age, there's a couple different things that kids at that age seem to really want, and a lot of them are related to emotions, right? That's, you're coming into learning all about yourself and who you are, and those kinds of things. So we have a couple of things now as far as mind support in tune, which I'm going to be honest with you, it does not smell nearly as good as Thinker, like the one in the kids collection called Thinker. I personally prefer that much over Intune, but it really does. Like this Intune, before they came out with Thinker, I was using it on the bottoms of my feet, which is a very good way to uptake high quality oils that you don't really like the smell of. You can put them on the bottoms of your feet, and reflexology causes all those benefits to enter our body within 2 minutes of putting them on the bottoms of our feet. And then within 20 minutes, the essential oils are traceable in every cell of our body. So essential oils are so, so friendly to our bodies just because they're just so natural, being that they can, yeah, our bodies just want to soak them up. They just want to soak them up. Okay, so this one tends to have, it does have some frankincense in it, but it's heavy on the patchouli, which is not one of my favorites. It does have some vetiver in it as well. But it is well known. A lot of people love this one because it helps with the retention and mental clarity. So those are really great ones. I'm also gonna say the other two that I think are key that a lot of people go for is this forgive. Often we find this forgive, which has a lot of more of the tree oils. This has been key for several, teens and early college students that I know of, because many times, it's not about forgiving other people who we thought did something that was mean to us. It's about forgiving ourselves, like being too hard on ourselves. And as teenagers, when they're working through a lot of these issues, that can be, a really big deal. So I would say this is one to go for. It causes a lot of, like, I don't want to say instant shifts. Obviously, God has to work on the heart, but there is some really quick shifts that happen with this forgive. So I want to highlight that. I also want to highlight the passion touch, which of course you guys might be thinking, what, that sounds like it's just for like date night or something. And it certainly is fun for date night as well. But I find this really helps people to connect into their heart. And so at the moments when people need to be creative, especially if they're, I know musicians who will only compose when they're wearing, passion blend. I know of artists who love to have that around when they're doing their specific kind of, whatever, painting or drawing or things like that. It really helps us get into the heart space, really well. Those particular spice oils, do that for us. So do keep that in mind if you have somebody, in your family who needs that kind of thing. Motivate is also amazing. I always joke that Motivate helps me to do 6 extra loads of laundry versus when I'm not wearing it. So it's got all the citrus oils. Spearmint is in that one. It's really, really great. Here's a couple extra that you guys might want to take a look at for aches and pains. We have a deep blue touch for the digest zen, for taking care of some of those, whether it's just from overeating or if you've got just, little queasiness, things like that. Now the coughing, I would say, I saw that there was a question there about some of the coughing, or congestion, I think it was in the question there. So breathe tends to be what is like an easy go-to. Breathe is a great blend that already has some eucalyptus, some peppermint. I want to say Ravinsara is another one that's in it, and possibly rosemary. I feel like maybe the other one off the top of my head. And so what I love about that is, just doing a little swipe, say like under the nose or over the chest, or even especially if you get a lot of congestion. I would say, in my situation, I often will do some on my fingers and put it on my kid's back, over the area that's like the lungs, and then some on my fingers over the chest, more like the area of the lungs. And then I may even go ahead and support, by putting a little bit under the nose so that it really gets into, the alveoli in the lungs, those little finger cells that are trying to receive all of the volatile organic compounds. And as those, are working their magic, especially if you can do it in small amounts more often, you'll see a bigger impact than if you just load it on all at once, right? That's the magic of essential oils, is they really try to work with our natural body. And the same way that having one meal that would feed, 3 people is not as beneficial to our body as when we have the 3 meals spaced out throughout the day in, general quantities, during like medium quantities. That would be so preferable. And the same thing with essential oils. Our body doesn't want a whole bunch at once. It's harder for it to handle it, but it loves, loves, loves being able to have that repeated exposure of something that's bringing it back to homeostasis. So I would say trying that for congestion would be a super, a good fix. And even here's another kind of as a weird one, the Digest Zen that we're looking at over here is another one that I have particularly used. My husband even likes this. He uses a CPAP machine at night for breathing so that he can, well, I mean, it's not so much about the snoring because that would be fine, but he actually stops breathing sometimes, and so that CPAP machine keeps those airways open. And when he has an actual like just something that like a real congestion, this Digest Zen, I think because of the ginger in it, or I'm not even sure what other thing. Ginger is what the one thing that comes to mind. The ginger and peppermint just really does an extra job of opening the airways, whereas the breathe sometimes doesn't necessarily do that, that last little mucusy part. So digestion is really, really great for that. So keep that one in mind. I think we already mentioned On Guard. So I'm going to pass over that. Frankincense does come in a touch form. Oregano, oh man. And you know what? Here's another fun thing too. We see, when we do the live events, they're so much fun. And I should definitely tell you about when I would love to host a class for you guys, whether it be specifically for kids, and there's this really amazing character named Miss Magnolia who can come and teach the kids and be very interactive and get them down to the nitty gritty about what exactly an essential oil is and why they would want them and all sorts of fun things. But or just for adults is also really good. But one of the fun things is we actually take the time to get our empty roller bottles and get our essential oils out. And I will be in just another moment, I'll be showing you guys a couple of the recipes that you guys can do, especially if you do already have some oils at home. These will be awesome for you and you'll love to see this PDF. Okay, I'm seeing a question here about respiratory allergies. Thank you for asking that. That was my secondary thing. I think I was going to ask Lori if your daughter who's struggling with the congestion, if it's more of an allergy thing versus just, clear breathing. Sometimes we just don't, so we just get congestion and kids typically have a hard time, expelling that, right? So the Digesten happens to be great because it gets a little bit of the heat from the ginger mixed in there and is great for helping to expel that. Lemon is the other one. If you already have lemon, lemon, ginger, and I want to say like a Siberian fir are great for helping to draw things out. If it is related to allergies, Marcella happens to be my guru of all things related to allergies. She has been having success after success with other friends. I mean, obviously it started with her because Marcella, how many years was it that you were on that zombie medication that your family was like during certain seasons, you couldn't even.
Yeah, so I don't know where to talk into here. Let me here. All right, is it better if I talk in here?
Yeah, that makes sense.
I was on allergy medicine basically my whole life, and when I was in Florida, it was worse because I needed to, in Florida there's allergies all the time, so I would need to be on allergy medicine basically from February through April. And so when you introduced me to oils, it's been 2 years now that I have not needed to take any over-the-counter meds for seasonal allergies. And I was actually just typing up a response in there for Rachel, and I didn't hit send because I saw you starting to answer. So I was like, I'll wait a minute for you to answer, but I'll hit send. My go-to blend for sure is equal parts of lemon, peppermint, lavender, which I carry in my pocket like all the time. And then breathe is my second go-to. And then if I'm really congested, Digesten over the nose is a third option. And there's more. I have like layers of different stuff that I use, but those that you've already mentioned are definite go-tos.
Mm, awesome. Yeah. And Marcella actually did a little, what do we call it? Like a little special seminar for us that we got together and did a special recording. So if that's of specific interest to you, we can make sure that you get a copy of that recording, or you may be able to just search it out on the that YouTube channel, Amanda Dumas. So yeah, I want to get you resourced. I'm also seeing some questions here about some eczema issues. That honestly, whenever it comes to eczema, I typically go for diet related stuff. So Terrazyme has been key for us, for me to keep the rashes away from my 6-year old, and that has been really, really important, to try to get that into him on a regular basis, as well as the probiotics that PB Assist. That's kind of like the pixie stick, but with probiotics. But as far as something topical, I do so love frankincense. It really because it's very gentle. A diluted frankincense can be very restorative around the skin, and it actually has a lot of other benefits. I use it around my eyes for wrinkles and things like that as well. Um, okay, yeah, eczema in your family too. Yep. Okay. So I'm finding, yeah, and you guys may also be interested, like having things like this frankincense touch or this lavender touch on hand are really great. A lot of times the eczema, a lot of people go for tea tree, but I would say that's almost more of like related to acne. Tea tree is amazing for acne. Very, very good. It's one of the few things that my teenager will put on anymore. He loves the deep blue for his muscles and he loves the tea tree for his skin. But other than that, he's like, oh, that stuff's just frou-frou, kind of thing. But like every one of my kids, and including my husband, have something that they could not do without, that they really, really like, even if they're not into oils. So I'm going to pop over this little back to school teachers checklist is a really great one. Just at a glance to kind of see like, what are these things for? Like, why would I even need them? How do I use them in the classroom? Or, in your kid, if you're of a homeschool parent, like these are some things that you want to have around. And we'll mention here in just a little bit more about the On Guard as well. Notice there's also the toothpaste, hair care kind of stuff here too, which is so, so good. Okay, here's some of my favorites, and I'm only going to take a super quick look at these because it's better for you to look at these when you can take a look at the ingredients and be able to make these yourself. This On Guard popcorn is an amazing, serious hit. I definitely love this with the coconut oil instead of butter. I love butter, but the coconut oil just makes it amazing. Now these wild orange power bites, my daughter made these when we had our kid-friendly in-person event, and they were such a hit. It was really great. Like people kept wanting to go back and have more of those. And if you guys have ever done the black bean brownies, whether you specifically try to do gluten-free or paleo or anything like that or not, these happen to be really tasty and really, really moist and surprisingly good. And with a little bit of peppermint in there, that's great. And of course, you guys know already that, you don't use the essential oils that you get from just a regular old store inside your body, right? And so most of them will already have something on there that they'll says only for aromatic, or sometimes they'll say aromatic and topical use. And so you definitely want to be able to look for something, like from doTERRA, where it says, let's see, is it going to focus here? I'm not sure if it'll focus, but we'll say for internal use, dilute 1 drop in 4 fluid ounces of liquid. Doesn't seem like it's focusing, sorry. But so it is recommended for internal use to have these high quality oils, which work very, very differently from some of the regular things that you get. So having these kinds of drop or two in the peppermint and of peppermint in your brownies and things like that actually can be, or especially like in the orange power bites and things like that, because it's fresh, it's very beneficial. I also have a quick page in here that you'll notice. This chill out blend was just thrilling a couple of people at the live events that we did. So hopefully, actually, I meant to make an extra thing, and I think I was going to have somebody who commented win the chill out blend. I could probably still come up with that. I mean, should I trade that out for one of them? I can't decide. Wait, but so here's the Sweet Dreams blend. So these may be another one, for those of you who are looking for some sleep ideas. These are mostly the idea of uh, diffuser kind of things, but the same kind of thing will work if you put it into a roller bottle. Here's the Immunity Rescue with On Guard Lavender and Melaleuca. And we find down here, got a couple of Fresh and Clean, Cranky Pants. That one I love Elevation and Spearmint together. It's very uplifting. I find it's a really great afternoon blend if you still have work that needs to get done, if you're, especially those homeschool moms, that have to get certain things finished by the next day or something. Um, Rise and Shine, we actually made a Rise and Shine blend when people were here. That was one of the blends that we put together in the roller bottle. And then a lot of kids, when the kids were here, they loved this homework help idea of like having the Intune, the Balance Peppermint. Or I think we actually did, what was it? I'm trying to think now. We did rosemary, rosemary, lemon, and frankincense, I think, which are also really great. So, so these are the recipes for some of the roller bottles. This is a 5 ml bottle, and it would be 4 drops spearmint, 4 drops tangerine, 4 drops lime. The reason we have it in this quantity is that for kids, we're tending to do somewhere between 16 and 20 drops of an essential oil, or a combination of oils inside a small 5 ml bottle. And so that really makes it a small quantity of the actual essential oils, and then the rest is like the fractionated coconut oil, and you put on the roller top and things like that. And when we have it diluted, the topical application can sometimes be even more effective than, well, I don't know. They're really all very effective, but I like the roller bottle because it seems to be easy to take with you, right? For a kid to put in their pocket and then be very empowered to be able to clear up that nasal congestion whenever they feel it coming on, or to fix that mood issue that they recognize but they don't seem to really know what to do to get rid of it, or to be able to focus better when they realize that their mind is going here and there and everywhere, and they don't want to be distracted. They want to try to learn, but they just can't, or like the sleep issue as well. Let's see. I'm gonna go back and share. There's a couple more things for you who have them. Okay, so for this immunity booster blend, this is another great recipe. If you happen to have your tea tree, on guard, oregano, lemon, and frankincense, here's a great set of recipe of like how many drops to put in your 5 ml, and this still ends up being very, very potent. We love wearing it several times a day. It actually doesn't even smell all that bad. We put just a little bit less oregano compared to the 5 drops of the frankincense, lemon, on guard, or tea tree, and ends up being great. Sometimes we call it flume in our family, or flute. Okay, so I gave the kids an option to make a hair spritz, but that we typically use a 2 ounce spray bottle for that kind of thing. And for ear discomfort, as many of you guys know, I have been woken up in the night because of that kind of pain. Basil, tea tree, and lavender tend to be the go-tos for that kind of a thing. And I love having that made up, just ready to use at the drop of a hat, really, because that has saved a lot of trips to see other professionals, right? You guys know what I'm talking about there. All right, just one or two last little quick things we're going to look at here, because I do want to make sure you guys get some good ideas. Here's a couple oil suggestions if you're talking about Anything that's going to be uplifting in the morning, go for orange, peppermint, lemongrass, grapefruit, rosemary, lemon, and cinnamon. Those are great to kind of like get people moving at nighttime. Notice peppermint's still here, but that's because we want the clear breathing, as well as rosemary, want clear breathing. Ylang ylang, cedarwood, sandalwood, lavender, and frankincense are very calming and kind of like sedative. So those are really great ones. Immunity oils, we see rosemary is here as well. And the cedarwood is still over here for immunity. Lemons over here for immunity as well. So many of these are doubling for extra things. We have orange. Actually, orange should really be in the nighttime oils as well, because it's actually, I like it for insomnia. Like if you have like repeated sleeplessness, wild orange is a great one for that. Lemon, lavender, cedarwood, thyme, clove. Here's a couple goofy little, even like the Fruit Loops blend or the root beer float kind of thing. Sometimes you just want something that feels fun. And so these are a couple just at a glance, great diffuser recipes that are just exciting and feel fun. And notice specifically, I love the homework blend with the rosemary, peppermint, and orange. That's a really nice uplifting one. We'll go into, okay, so I told you, so the 31st is such an odd night, an odd time to have one of these classes, but we wanted to make it so that you could still have something, and all our live events are done. So 15% off of spearmint is going on this month. We also have Stronger, which I showed you guys in the roller bottle. So this is, it is now available in the 5 ml, meaning that it's easy to diffuse so that your whole family gets this amazing scent of rose and all these other immune boosting oils. I think cedarwood's in there, a lot of the ones that we had just looked at up here above, right, with some of the orange and cedarwood, and I think frankincense I think is in there as well. Also Harvest Spice is there, which is great. I had told you guys about this back to school collection, which has the On Guard hand spray that's gentle yet effective and won't catch on fire, with the wipes, and 2 bottles of this hand soap. This is really, really great stuff. I think some of us who are in the homeschool community know that this On Guard has a lot of testing behind it to kind of show that it keeps germs from repopulating on surfaces for about 9 days. So this is really great stuff. And a hand soap dispenser comes with it. The 2 things of the soap, 3 of the misters, and then 20 of the individually wrapped wipes. So those are really awesome. And here's something for some of you who do have your doTERRA account already, who are watching this recording. This won't apply to you, but for those of you who are new to this and who need to get some of these things that we've talked about, here's a cool little extra deal. Anyone who's getting their first time enrollment up until the 31st, tonight only, gets $50 back when you are getting your first order with 150 or more. And some of you may be wondering, what exactly does that look like? I'm not really sure. Well, here's the thing. There's 3 ways to get essential oils from doTERRA into your home. The first way is retail, and you would just like connect with me. I can give you a one-off if you're like, I want to see if this stuff actually works. Okay, we can just do a simple one-off. But most people, I would say the vast majority, 95% of people, just go ahead and get their account with doTERRA, which is the second way. And that works because it's a one-time $35 membership fee, and then everything that you buy for the year has a 25% discount. So very cool, kind of like a Costco idea, right? You pay a fee and then you get access to things at a much lower price that are very high quality. Now, the third way, which is actually what I prefer and the only way I would buy these days, is to get what would be under wholesale cost. So, and you do that by doing a kit. And there's several ways that we can work that out for you, depending on what your specific needs are. Sometimes this also depends on Like if you already have oils from a different company that you still trust and you want to be able to use those up, great. The $35 membership fee and just piecemealing a couple things together works fine. Some of you who have not started with any oils at all, you may want to be able to have like say like your basic 10, for example. Let me go ahead and show you what that would look like here real quick. Let's go to this one, right? So here's kind of a an at a glance idea. We've got these basic 10, which are like the lavender, lemon, peppermint, tea tree, oregano, frankincense, and deep blue, breathe, on guard, digest. And I guess we talked about pretty much all of those, right? Didn't we? And then here's a diffuser. Now, the cool thing is, notice here it's $160, which means it's over the 150, so you're getting $50 back. So it's really like it's costing 110. So pretty cool. And the fact that you're getting it in this kind of set as opposed to piecemealing it, like if I go just with my regular wholesale account and I just want to get, I'll get this oregano and I'll get this on guard. And if I piecemeal it together, plus the diffuser, I'm going to pay $25 more even with my wholesale account versus getting it in the kit. So there's really like a whole bunch of savings mixed into that. So I feel like that's a really smart way to go, especially if you don't have any of these or if you don't have the diffuser. I feel like that's really, really awesome. The second thing that sometimes I think people are kind of attracted to is this more customizable one where you get a couple of the basics like Serenity for sleep, the On Guard for immune boosting, the Lemon for all so many good cleansing and uplifting applications, and the Deep Blue Rub, which is every husband's gateway to essential oils. um, People just love the muscle aches and pains that get relieved from this, right? So normally you would have this $35 membership fee, but because this is a kit, it waives the $35 membership fee and you're saving an additional $39 versus if you just go and piecemeal and buy these things all separate. So now this one is only to the 105 level, which means you get to customize, right? You get to be like, I need the Clary Calm because I need it for me, for my menopause issues, or I need to get that Digest Zen because my kids really struggle with that, or I need the Thinker, or I need the whatever thing, right? And so getting up to that is another way to just kind of make it work for you. So I'm really interested to be able to help you guys kind of get some of those things in your tool belt. Let me go ahead. I have a couple things here. One, I still want to be, should I do, I feel like the chill out blend was super awesome. All right, you guys get to take a vote for me here, okay? Out of, I feel like the chill out blend is gonna be awesome. So out of the Tamer or the On Guard, tell me which one you think I should eliminate or take out in terms of choosing somebody to participate, right? So if you tell me like On Guard out or Tamer out, so that I can know which one I should take out for like to have the other chill out blend. Okay, and as you're commenting, here's a couple extra things I want you guys to know. People often ask me like, does getting my account mean that I have to buy every month? It doesn't. You can opt in to having extra cool things happen when you do what we call the loyalty rewards program. Having your own account means you can buy once or twice or 12 times or 24 times a year, and you still get that same 25% discount. There's extra benefits that get even lower if you want to do the other things. I'm seeing On Guard out. Interesting. Okay. So yeah, so it doesn't rip you into anything like that. And here's something that I feel like is really key. Many people who are working with essential oils have gotten them off of Amazon or just at the store someplace or whatever, and are not involved in a community. And I know I already gave you a little glimpse of that Facebook group. And if you've taken a look at the YouTube videos that I've done, right, the education portion is here, and the coaching always sounds like it's as such a formal thing, but there's just a lot of community and camaraderie and just a beautiful group of people who are all kind of working together. Just like Marcella, she's great at allergies, and I have other friends who are amazing at using essential oils on their pets, and I have other friends who are amazing at helping people work through pregnancy and helping those kinds of, I don't want to say symptoms because it makes it sound bad, but some of our typical struggles as during pregnancy. So I love the community that we have, and that gets to be part of having this account because you get to join into that group of people. Someone walks with you to help you learn how to use these things, so it doesn't end up being like you get a big box of oils and you're scared to open it because you don't really know what any of them are or how they work, right? So, okay, I'm seeing people say on guard out. So I'm going to take out the on guard. So your two things are going to be tamer, and I will get to it. I will make up one of the chill out blends. The way I do that is I take an almost empty bottle and then do the chill out blend in like thirds, so that you have something where you can just put a few drops into your diffuser, and then as it's coming out, that amazing chill out smell, you can just pop it in there. Of course, you can make it into a roller bottle as well if you like to. um yeah, that's fine, Lovey. Yeah. We sorry, I get distracted because kids. Turkey, go back to bed. You're supposed to be sleeping. Terrazyme apparently is her thing of choice. She's like, it's okay if I take one of these. Bless her heart. Okay. So here's what I want you guys to do. I'm going to, you know what, that might be taking too long. Let me skip that because I think we're almost here at an hour. Okay, how about I'm gonna randomly scroll through the chat. Okay, I'm just gonna kind of scroll and see who my finger lands on to kind of win one of these goodies here. So Rachel, you have just won the tamer. And yay, Rachel. Is Rachel still on even? I've lost my thing here. Oh, I think Rachel jumped off. She doesn't even know she won. Oh. Should I still give it to her? Should I? Yeah. Okay, great. It's more fun. Okay, and let me scroll through and see what else we have here. I'm not gonna do Marcella. So, all right, Michelle, it's you. You won the chill out blend. You'll get to chill out. All right, so I can get those to you guys. So here, I'm going to go ahead and get the recording stopped here because I want to be able to answer questions specifically for you guys, especially anything that I haven't answered already. So let me